Oh, I'm a little bit red, aren't I? Well, it'll be a test of the foundation and the concealer today. Hello my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing a part 2 for the products that influencers made me buy. I'm going to do a full face with some of the products. I've got the conceal and hydrate, I've got some pure baked lace, I've got the skin finish, I have a infallible concealer which I've used a couple of times, but we'll see how it works with these products and on camera. I've also, let me go over here, grabbed the 39L Hit the Lights palette by Morphe. Oh, it's going to be an exciting video. Lots of different opinions, reviews, first impressions. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, before we start, if you haven't already, please do consider becoming a member of the house and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out immensely. If you could share this video with friends and family, get my content out there, that would also be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy the video today, please do leave me a little thumbs up down below. Enough promotion, enough call to arms, let's get into the products. Hello, Editing Dana here. I've just been going through the footage and it's coming up a little bit long, so I'm going to split this video into two parts. The first part being about the face application and the second part being about the eyeshadow and my final thoughts. I hope that's okay and I'll let you get back into the video. Okay, in today's video I am going to be using two different mirrors. I will be using the Bloodlust mirror by JSC just as an overall mirror to see what I would look like in person, as it is very clear and I want to get my money's worth out of this mirror. I've also got my Simple Human mirror here just out of shot, and this has a 10 times zoom on it. It's a great mirror because it shows you exactly what you look like, but at the same time it gives you a look into all of the bad points of your face and really highlights everything. So if the foundation doesn't work, if the concealer doesn't work, if some of the powders or the eyeshadows are a little bit blotchy, then we will see it in the Simple Human mirror. I will zoom you in as well because I have that function on the camera, so you can get right up close and see what the products are looking like. I am not going to be using a primer today. Normally I would use the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer, but we're gonna chuck that over there because we are using the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. This is in the shade F2. This is supposed to be a radiance foundation with hyaluronic acid in it. We'll just give it a little shake up because sometimes the oil in this product just gets a little bit distant from the rest of the ingredients and you might get a little bit of a blotchy and a little bit of a odd coverage for the foundation. This says it should be medium to full coverage, so that's what we're looking for. We have the little pump as well, which is going to be quite helpful, and I'm just going to do one little pump on the back of my hand and see how far this takes us. To buff this onto the skin, I'm going to be grabbing the Real Techniques Body Complexion Sponge, a huge sponge with, that's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's really good. It blends everything out really quickly, really seamlessly. Now let's dive straight into the product. You can already see from that small amount I just put on that when it's concentrated, it gives a gorgeous full coverage finish to the skin. Let's try and get this nose bit sorted. This bit always gets a little bit of foundation wearing off, and especially the tip of my nose, it always seems to come off. So we'll see if this holds onto the skin well today. we're just gonna buff this out. I put the majority of my foundation on the center part of my face because that's where I need the coverage. And then I tend to just buff it out gently, and then the product will just stretch across the full face just to give me a nice even coverage. Starting off with, this is doing very well. Let's grab the other mirror. Yeah, I'm happy with that coverage actually. That does look very nice. We are still getting a bit of the beard coming through down here, and I am seeing a little bit of skin texture here, but it is a medium to full coverage, so the more we put on, the higher coverage we're going to get. But let's see if it gets cakey the more we put on. Okay, now that we've finished the base with the foundation, oh, let's just move that little bit in the nose. In there. This bit here is always the hardest bit for me to get done in the foundation because I can never do that enough with my face to get it right in the crevices of this little honker. I'd say that's nice. Okay, let's look at the finish that we've got going on. Let me grab the little remote and bring you in. Ooh. Is that a bit too close for comfort, or is that all right? There's a little fly in front of me. Get away. Right, let's look right at this skin. In my mirror, I can see that it has covered the majority of what I want covered. It is a medium to full, so you are seeing a little bit of redness still on my skin here, but overall the texture has been evened out. I'm not seeing any clumping of the foundation yet. I am seeing that it is going into the lines already on my forehead. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but it's already sunk into the lines, and I put nearly no foundation on my forehead because of the lines that I have there. It went into the brows relatively nicely, and then underneath the eye, we're not getting the creasing yet, but I'm sure if it's not set properly, it will start creasing. Let's move on to the concealer. Okay, for the concealer today, we are going in with the L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. This is in the shade 324 Oatmeal. Now, this comes with a beautiful doe foot applicator. This is huge and it can apply a lot of product to a lot of surface area. So let me get close to the mirror, and we're just going to pop it into the uppermost dark points of the eye. We're not going to put too much on because I don't want this to just swamp my eye. I want a couple of dabs in there, a couple of dabs on the end, just the two parts that need brightening. And then let's go in with a little brush today. Let's grab the this one looks good actually. The Deluxe Crease Brush by Real Techniques, and we're just going to pat and buff this concealer under the eye. Already you can see how bright that concealer is. Let's see if it buffs out properly and becomes one with the foundation underneath. Okay, the initial coverage for that concealer is quite nice actually. It does still look skin-like, and we are getting the luminosity still from the foundation seeping through, which is nice, but it has covered up those dark circles under my eyes. I am just going to bring it a little bit further down so that it cancels out these deep set lines that I have in my face. So give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I've just added a little bit more. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll figure it out later on. So the finish of the concealer is, it is all right. It's a little bit buildable, but at the same time, you don't want to go giving it too much because it's such a thick concealer. Otherwise you're going to become quite cakey, which is never good. It's not setting into fine lines yet, but I will be setting this very quickly just to make sure that we don't have any awful lines that turn up out of the blue. Like these blooming forehead lines, like they are really just screaming today, hello, look at me. I will just set this with the Pure Bake Powder in Lace by Makeup Obsession, and then I will come back to you. Okay, when opening this Pure Bake baking powder, you are greeted with something that is going to hinder how quickly you can do your makeup. So it comes with this little pot here, but there's no sifter. There's no label that I can take off, there's nothing. So unless you want to drill your own holes into this, you are going to have to click this off every single time you do your makeup, which is blooming annoying, to be honest. And you have to be very careful because you don't want to get powder everywhere. See, and it's quite a thinly milled powder, so if you get this everywhere, that's it, game over. It is going everywhere. Let me grab a little powder brush by Revolution, just something like this, quite fluffy, quite big. We'll just tap it into the product and then do a light dusting all over the face. That is not light. Tap off a lot of this excess. There we go. I'd say that's all right. Okay, let's go in. So far it's playing well with the other products. We don't have any bunching up as of yet, and let's hope it stays that way. Let's try and set this blooming forehead. Let's just take the sponge one more time just to buff everything out. Okay, that looks better. Let's grab the powder, tap off a huge amount of excess because this brush picks up so much. And then we're just gonna tap her on the forehead and blend her out. Ooh, pop that lid back on. I don't want this accidentally flying across the room. That would be horrendous. Right, let's look at the face and see what we're working with. Let's get the powder off the mirror. Okay, in the smaller mirror, the skin is looking gorgeous. It is looking very flawless. Still luminous around these areas from the foundation after the powder, which is a very impressive feat actually. And we are getting a little bit of creasing from the concealer down here, but we're going to be blending some eyeshadows along the lower lash line, so this shouldn't really matter. Nice though. Okay, let's zoom you in and I will look in the 10 times mirror to see what we're working with. Oh, a bit close for comfort, isn't it? So what we can see here, we are getting a little bit of product displacement just here in the eye. Let me move back a little bit for you. But you are very close to me. If we were in person, you could see it, but on photos and stuff like that, general day use, it's not going to be bad at all. I'm quite impressed with this combination, to be completely honest. Wow. Okay, let's zoom you out and then I will do my contouring and my highlighting off camera, and then we'll look at the Revolution skin finish. Okay, so I finished the contouring and the highlighting of the face. I seem to have fixed this little line that I had underneath my eyes with a little bit of powder, which is good. And I'm not gonna lie, those cheekbones look Wonderful. Right, let's zoom you in and look at the final skin before we put the skin finish on. In you come. Okay, so as you can see, we have got no texture whatsoever. We have got a little bit of clumping in the center of the forehead, but that may be where I've put too much powder on. But it should disappear when we put the setting spray on. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. We are getting a little creasing just here by the nose, but I mean, we always get creasing there. The smile lines aren't bad. The forehead lines we've already had a discussion about, and we can't say much more about it. The powders did go on really nicely on top of the Pure Bake setting powder. It is a good powder, but I would suggest you use it sparingly. Okay, so let's get into the skin finish by Makeup Revolution. Here it is in its cute little compact. Now this is always a mess to open because I've got my good old claws on. If we just, oh, bear with me. Oh, aha. So when you open it up, it comes with these colors here. So it's almost blue, and then you've got red and golden shades in it. It is just a highlighter for the face really, but after we've put this amount of powder on, we are looking a little bit flat. So if we put this over the top, it should help us. Let me zoom you out and then we'll get to applying. Okay, you are zoomed out. Let's grab a fluffy brush. Let's grab the little. Oh my God. Let's grab the little Revolution brush and we're just going to swirl it in the pan and then just pop this over the top of the skin. I am going to go for the high points first because I don't want it to emphasize anything that I've just got covered, like those lines underneath my eyes. So let's go on the cheekbones. That is lovely, isn't it? On the tip of the nose. Yep, fan of that. The chin, the other cheek, and then a little bit on the forehead, just to give it a little bit of life and definition. We'll go over the brows, why not? Always makes them look a little bit nicer. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Ooh, the skin looks lovely. Wow. We're not going to do all the wows that we did in the last video because my goodness, I didn't apparently know any words that day apart from wow, which was just a mess. But somebody in the comments, Rosie, one of my good friends, managed to count all of them, and I think it was around 20, and it was just a little bit embarrassing to say the least when she said that I'd said that many times. Ooh. Now the thing with this skin finish is I can't stop putting it on my skin. I need to because I'm going to highlight something that I don't want highlighted. But my goodness, it just makes the skin look so hydrated and smooth and lovely. Oh, I'm very into that. Okay, let's grab the final step of the face, which is a little bit of blush, because I love a bit of blush, but I don't want to grab a blush that I normally do, the MAC one. I think it's Peony Rose or something like that. Let me go to the side, a little bag that I've got. Peony Petal, this one, this lovely pink one. I love this. This is my go-to shade for any of the blushes that I use. But considering we're going to be using the 39L Hit the Lights palette in today's video, we could go into any number of these colours. So like these colours up here, some of them are matte, like that one's matte. These reds are matte, but these ones have got little shimmers in them. If I grab a little, so like look at that one. That's shimmery, but it's still pink. So we could try something like that. But I think for the time being, let's play it safe and let's go with a slight wash of this colour here on the cheeks. As I said, slight wash, nothing too ridiculous. I am going to grab the Real Techniques blush brush. This is a beautiful brush, very soft, very good for just placing the product on it gently. So let's grab a tap of this colour up here. This colour, by the way, we are going to brush this onto my arm just to take off the majority of the pigment. Oh, that gives a really nice wash of colour. Look at that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's take the majority of the pigment off on my arm, and then we're just going to go into the cheek. Brush it up and down and just... As a tad too much, but we can always blend her out. Let's go gentle now, Dana. Gentle. Barely even touching my face. Oh, blooming it. Oh, she looks like a clown, girls. She looks like a clown. Let's dab it on the forehead. Just a little zhuzh. That brought back some warmth to the face, didn't it? That's nice. Now let's, emergency, let's grab the Real Techniques powder brush, which I used for the bronzer and contour, and let's just buff on the skin to really kind of tone that up. That's better. See, things can always be fixed quite easily when it comes to powder products. As long as you've got a non-tacky base underneath, it will just blend and it will make sure that all your product doesn't start looking like a clown. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan. So if you really wanted to, and you wanted to use this eyeshadow palette as a face palette, we'll get into this plastic malarkey in a second. If you wanted to use it as a face palette, you could. So this was the colour I used for the blush, and it can blend out, which is lovely. You've got all of this for eyeshadows. I'm probably going to use this brown down here as an eyebrow colour, and then you've got colours like here and all along here, which can be used as highlights. So you could use this as a face palette. Right, enough talking. Let's get straight into the 39L Hit the Lights palette by Morphe.